Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are all looking forward to the weekend and looking forward to seeing Newcastle back in action tomorrow night. 5:30 kickoff down at the Vitality Stadium against Bournemouth. 5:30 kickoff, so it is on Sky. This is our second of three 5:30 kickoffs in a row. We played West Ham in the last game where we drew. It's Bournemouth tomorrow, 5:30, and then it's Liverpool in a week's time as well. And then it's the Carabao Cup final. But as Eddie Howe said, we will concentrate on the games ahead of us. And as always in this preview, we will talk a little bit about Bournemouth. We'll talk about Newcastle. We'll talk about Eddie Howe in his press conference earlier on today, giving hints on what players could be available. It's understood that ISAK's back, Gordon's back, Maxi's ready to go. Almiron, for me, was actually one of the better players against West Ham, so it'll be interesting to see what lineups we will go with, and we'll go through all of that. And then we'll do our prediction at the end of the video as well. Before we do get started, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please be sure to do so. Getting really close to 40,000 subscribers, and I do have a 40k special planned, and it's a good one. So if we get there, I'm hoping you guys are going to enjoy that video as well. So let's start off with Bournemouth. Not having the greatest of seasons right now, currently sat down in 19th place. It was always going to be tough for them coming up into the Premier League. We saw, it feels like 2 seconds ago, but right back at the start of the season when Scott Parker came in, Scott Parker left. Gary O'Neill came in, had been doing a cracking job, but I was reading a few articles beforehand on the Bournemouth side of things saying that is there a chance they could potentially let him go if things don't pick up. They haven't won a game in a long time. The last time Bournemouth won was the 12th of November, and that was against Everton when they won 3-0. So it has been some time since they had, as I mentioned, when Scott Parker went, Gary O'Neill came in, they went on a great little run of form. That was quite a long time ago now. They are sat in 19th place, but they're only 2 points off 17th, 3 points off 15th. So it's not over. The bottom of the league is very, very tight right now, and they've got every chance of getting their way out of that. But I think they'll have a tough job against the Newcastle side, who are in high form at the moment, heading down to the Vitality Stadium. Look, Newcastle will be the favourites going into this one, and I'm hoping we will take home 3 points. Eddie Howe said that he was disappointed with the draw against West Ham in the last game. I thought we did all right. I think we missed Bruno, and we'll talk about that in the lineups in a moment. And Eddie Howe said it himself. He said, it's no disrespect to the players that we put out there on the pitch, but when you're missing, a world-class talent, it's going to hurt. And that's the big thing, is we need to go down to Bournemouth and do it without them. And Eddie Howe said that since that West Ham game, we have taken time in training this week to try and adapt and change and play in a way that he believes we can go and get the win. Eddie Howe was also asked about players and who's available for this game. We know that ISAK was out following a slight head concussion. He is set to return to the squad for tomorrow night's game. He's actually been photoed out walking his dog in his full Newcastle kit, which is brilliant, so well done to ISAK for that one. Imagine turning the corner and just spotting ISAK wearing his full training gear walking his dog. Class. Well done, ISAK. So hopefully he can feature at some point tomorrow. Again, we'll get onto lineups. I'm not sure he starts, to be honest, but we'll come on to that. He was asked about Gordon as well. Obviously, we saw him come on and make a great debut appearance where he really kind of brought a bit of oomph, a bit of speed, a bit of quality to that game. He has trained individually with Eddie Howe on Monday and then has trained with the squad for the full week. That's one thing we always say about Eddie Howe. He's always quite careful about introducing players to the pitch, but it sounds like Gordon's had a full week of training. Could this be his chance to get a full debut? And then on top of that, he was also asked about a few other things like the final. As I mentioned earlier, Eddie Howe said that he has full concentration on the games ahead of him, not the final. He's actually banned cup final talks in his household because everyone keeps talking about it. And he was asked about tickets and jokingly said he's had phone calls and text stuff, people he doesn't even have the number of, asking him for tickets. Said that he'll be lucky if he gets any extras for himself because they're so hard to come by. But a lot of people calling it the Eddie Howe derby. Obviously, it's Bournemouth. Eddie Howe was there for a very long time. He spoke about the fact that it'll be strange stepping out there for him. Obviously, now as the Newcastle United manager, and I think that's probably the conversation that's going to happen every time we play Bournemouth, to be honest. But it's not just him. It's also Callum Wilson as well. And that's the thing. When we get into my lineups here, that's going to be a big talking point for a lot of people because... And look, I think if ISAK hadn't have had his head concussion, we could have potentially have seen him play against West Ham. That's who I wanted to see. But then Callum Wilson did score, despite the fact that I just feel like he's just lost a bit of pace. There was a ball that Gordon played through for Wilson at the end of that West Ham game, and he was just a little bit off it. I think if that was ISAK, he's 2 strides ahead and it's in the bottom corner. But having said that, he's still scoring. He got a goal away at his old team. I think he plays Wilson. So you guys let me know about the forward down below. We'll start from back to front. Yeah, it's Pope and net. It's Byrne, Botman, Shaw, Trippier. It's the same every time. It works every time. Although we did concede in the last game. That's Nick Pope's clean sheets in the Premier League run out the window. But hopefully we can kickstart that again. In midfield, Shelby's gone. Bruno's injured. So it's going to be Joey, Sean and Willock, unless you wanted to give Elliot Anderson a go. It's still a position that I feel we needed to strengthen in the January, so fingers crossed those guys can continue to power on till the final, where Bruno will come back refreshed and have the game of his life as he hopefully wins us the cup. And then it's the front three. It's the same conversation every time. People will be shouting for Gordon. If I'm totally honest, I think if this side is more of an Eddie Howe side. I think this week I kind of mix between what I want to see and what I think will happen. I've kind of gone with Eddie this week. For me, I would just get Gordon in. 45 million, play him. We've spent the money. He's clearly a good player, but Maxi did an interview this week talking about Eddie Howe, talking about the fact that he had lots of teams interested in him in the January window, and that at no point did he want to leave. He said he loves Eddie Howe, he loves the club, he wants to stay here. Maxi is really putting it out there that he wants to be part of this side. And one thing he said that was very interesting was that he took no offence to the fact that he hasn't been playing. He had long COVID, which hurt him, and also we were winning games. You know, you play a winning team. When Maxi wasn't playing and we were winning, you can't stand up and go, what the hell, I should be playing when the guys are doing a good job. It's come to a point now where with spaces in the squad and it's Maxi's time to shine. And I think for Eddie Howe to totally overlook him, plays one game against West Ham where I didn't think he was great, if I'm honest. I feel like he looks like he's lacking confidence. The thing with Maxi is, and he can't win a lot of the time, because if Maxi goes on too many runs and loses the ball, he gets hammered for not passing it. When Maxi lacks confidence, like I think he did against West Ham, and turns around and passes it back and passes it sideways and doesn't do any good runs, everyone goes, well, why is Maxi not playing very well? He needs to find a balance in the middle where he can still connect with the players, but also still do what he's good at and go on dribbling runs. And to get that confidence back, he's got to play him. I think if he doesn't play him and he brings Gordon in, this is what I mean. It's like heart over head, because my heart is saying, give Maxi a chance. Get him back to where he should be. My head's saying, he hasn't been great. We've just spent 45 million on Gordon. Put him in the side. Or could you play Gordon on the other side? Because Almiron has been a little bit quiet as well. What I will say for Almiron, which is odd, is that I thought he did okay against West Ham. we were lacking creativity, and that was when Gordon came on, looked really good. For Miggy, I thought he was one of the few players who was actually picking the ball up and trying to drive. What he wasn't doing, which we've loved since the start of the season, is he wasn't shooting. Almiron, Almiron used to get stick because he wouldn't pull the trigger. He would turn on his left, he'd pass it back, he'd do 3 little circles before he passed it or had a shot. He's been so clinical, he's been so confident and brave with his efforts and shooting the last few games. I think it's confidence. I think generally speaking, he's still playing very well up until the box. And instead of cutting in and trying to bend it, he's going, oh, I'll just lay it off the trip here. We need him to get that confidence back, and we need him to play like he was a month ago. And to do that, he's got to play games. So, yeah, I've put them in. Look, if Gordon started for either of them on either side, I want to see Gordon play. I think he's a great young talent. We saw a little bit of him. I'd love to see it. And I think if ISAK is getting close to returning, I think eventually he will take Wilson's place. I think Wilson has been a bit slow since the World Cup, a little bit sluggish, but he's playing his all side. He scored in the last game. ISAK's not 100%. I think it will be Wilson, but I think it's a matter of time before ISAK gets the start. So that was the lineups. Talked about that for quite a long time there. Over 2 positions, right and left wing. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you agree with what I've said, or do you think it is get Gordon in, get him going, get him scoring in a game that we'll be the favourites in? It's away, but he'll work hard backwards and forwards. Let me know your thoughts. And then for predictions, I've gone quite bold. It's without Bruno. It's without Bruno. It's just a question mark of where's the creativity. What Bournemouth don't have is a Declan Rice stopping us in our tracks, because he was incredible for them at the weekend. And every Newcastle fan's going, please buy Declan Rice in the summer. They don't have that. They're low on confidence. Even without Bruno, I'm hoping we can get the job done. So I'm going to go for 3-0. I'm going to say early goal, Maxi screamer, and then we'll hopefully just take them for the whole game. Let's hope it happens. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. Let me know your thoughts on the lineups and your predictions down in the comments. As I mentioned, if you're not subscribed yet, be sure to do so. All the usual pre-match, post-match chats tomorrow for the game, and hopefully it's a good one. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you later.